In this lesson, we're going to look at how we subtract two rational expressions. Now, subtraction is very similar to addition in that we have to have common denominators before we can do the subtraction. And once we do have the common denominators, then we'll just subtract the numerators and keep that common denominator. Before I do anything else, always remember to simplify the denominators as much as you can, because we want to see what factors they have in common. So when I look at this first fraction, I realize that that first denominator will actually factor. It's a trinomial, and we're looking for what will multiply together to get 3 and subtract to get 2, so that's 3 and 1. We want positive 3 and negative 1, since the big sign is going to be positive, to get positive 2x. And then on the other one, even though we can't just factor it, we can factor out a number here. We can factor a 4 out in the front, and that'll be 4 times x plus 3. So now I'm just going to kind of replace my original denominators with the simplified versions here. And this will help me to get a common denominator a little bit easier. Now out here to the side, I'm going to go out and find my least common denominator. Works the same way it does in addition, and if you need a review of that, there's another lesson on that for you. But what we do is we list all the factors in the denominator of the first fraction, in this case x plus 3 and x minus 1. And then we list any factor that's in the second fraction's denominator that wasn't in the first. In this case, that would be only the number 4, since we already had used x plus 3. So I'm just going to put it in front right here. So my least common denominator for this is going to be 4 times x plus 3 times x minus 1. Now I'm going to use that in the next part of my problem. I'm going to go ahead and combine that 4. No, I'm not going to do that yet, because if I go ahead and combine them, it's harder to see what I need to do in my numerator. So I'm going to just write the 4x plus 3 x minus 1 right here. Now, first numerator was x, and I have to look at my original denominator, the x plus 3, x minus 1, and ask the question, what is missing in that denominator that's in the least common denominator? In this case, it's the 4. Now, the 4 is a number that we had to multiply the original denominator by to get to the least common denominator, so we need to do the same thing with our numerator. And I'm just going to put it right here in front of the numerator, like that. Okay, now I'm going to do my minus sign, and here's where you have to be a little bit careful. We're going to do the same thing with the second denominator over here. We're going to ask what is missing from the original 4 times x plus 3 that's in the least common denominator, and that would be the x minus 1 right here. So I'm going to be very careful with my negative sign out here, 2x plus 2 times x minus 1. In each case, I multiplied the common factor by both the numerator and denominator for each fraction. Okay, now I can begin to simplify out here to the side. And I'm going to put 4x, and then I'm going to make sure I keep this minus right here. I'm going to go ahead and combine the two binomials. 2x times x is 2x squared. And 2x times negative 1, negative 2x, and positive 2x will cause those x's to just go away. And then we'll have 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. So I'm left with that in my numerator. And then I'm going to go ahead and start combining the bottom here. 4 times x and 4 times 3 by distributing the 4. I'll have another step to finish down here on the bottom also. Going down to the next line, I'm going to do 4x minus 2x squared plus 2. Notice how I distributed the negative to both this and this. Very important. And then on the bottom, I'm going to go ahead and put together the two binomials. 4x times x is 4x squared. 4x times negative 1 is negative 4x. Got a little crazy there with my negative sign. Just try that again. And then plus 12x, 12 times x, and minus 12. And one last simplification and I'll be through. Put the top ones in descending order of exponents. 2x squared, and don't lose that negative sign, plus 4x, plus 2. And on the bottom, I'm going to combine like terms. I'm going to get the negative 4x and the positive 12x together, getting plus 8x and minus 12. And that will be my result that I get when I subtract x over x squared plus 2x minus 3 minus 2x plus 2 over 4x plus 12.